Today we received an iPhone 12 Pro Max that won't turn on. Even after pressing the power button, it still does not turn on. Even with the charger, it won't turn on. Unplug the charger and let's start disassembling the phone. Place the iPhone on the screen separator. Unscrew the two pentalobe screws using a screwdriver. Then start separating the screen assembly. Based on the appearance of the battery, the iPhone may have previously been opened. Cover the front camera with the dust-proof sticker. Remove the screws and detach the metal cover. Disconnect the battery flex cable. Then connect it to the DC power supply cable. When the power cable is connected, the DC power supply draws 0.000 volts in current, indicating a direct short in the main power line. Continue to remove the screws and the metal cover. Disconnect the sensor and display flex cables. Next, unscrew the rear camera's metal cover. Then take out the metal cover and SIM card tray. Remove the screw, then disconnect the SIM card reader's flex cable and take it out. Next, unscrew the motherboard screw and disconnect the flex cables. Apply alcohol around the battery to soften the adhesive. Then pry up the battery with a spudger. Take out the rear camera and cover it with a dust-proof sticker. Then take out the motherboard. Apply alcohol to the sponge foam pads. Then remove the sponge foam pads with tweezers. Place the motherboard on the preheating platform and set the temperature to 220 degrees Celsius. When the set temperature is reached, separate the logic board from the signal board. Remove the thermal grease from the logic board and clean with PCB cleaner. Connect the logic board with the DC power supply cable again. Since the DC power supply current remains abnormal, we can conclude that the short circuit is on the logic board. Using a multimeter, measure the diode value of the logic board's battery FPC connector. The diode's value is not normal, indicating a direct short circuit to ground. Open the bitmap for the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Locate the battery FPC connector on the logic board. The PP-BAT VCC circuit line is connected to some capacitors, and an L4000 and L4001, the charging IC. And an R4100 resistor connected directly to the PP-VDD main. Next, measure the diode value of the PP-VDD main circuit line with a multimeter. Even the PP-VDD main circuit line was confirmed to be shorted. First, examine the logic board under a microscope for potential shorted components. Since we didn't find any suspicious component as the cause of the short circuit, we proceed to inspect the logic board under the thermal imager. Connect the black alligator clip to ground and supply 1.8 volts to the PP-VDD main circuit line with the short killer. The capacitor C6591 displayed high heat when the voltage was applied to the PP-VDD main. Now use tweezers to remove the faulty capacitor. check the diode value with the multimeter again. Now the diode value returns to normal. Connect the logic board to the DC power supply and boot up with tweezers. The logic board boots normally. Now that the logic board is working, prepare to clean the bonding pads for recombination. Apply flux paste to the bonding pads of the logic board. Use a soldering iron and desoldering wick to clean the tin on the bonding pads. Clean the logic board using PCB cleaner. Next, remove the thermal grease from the signal board. Then clean it with the PCB cleaner. Apply flux paste to the middle layer of the signal board. Use the same method to clean the signal board's bonding pads. Now let's reball the signal board. Align the reballing stencil to the right position. Then apply 153 temperature solder paste evenly. Then clean the excess solder paste. Then, gently remove the reballing stencils. Apply heat with a hot air gun set to 300 degrees Celsius in an airflow of 60 until solder balls form. Once the middle layer has been reballed, apply flux paste. Place the signal board on the preheating platform, then align the logic board. Set the temperature to 180 degrees Celsius, then start the recombination. Using a tweezer, gently shake the logic board to align it with the signal board. After recombination, check the connection between the logic and signal boards to make sure it fits properly. Install the motherboard and connect all the flex cables. Install the rear camera and SIM card reader. Then screw the motherboard. Install the battery. Remove the dust-proof sticker. Connect the display, sensor, and battery flex cables. Press the power button to turn on the phone. The phone boots normally. Unlock the phone and go to Settings. The phone baseband is working. Also, the Wi-Fi is working.